Once again, recording in my hotel room like a psychopath.
What is this?
To summarize my thoughts for day 3 of training Heyrosa de Cuerdas Eskrima, day 2 we introduced blocking, and I was surprised at how fast we went to disarms and going immediately into knife, which is not something you do in Heyrosa de Cuerdas until like after many sessions with a stick. But with day 3, I think Richard himself said, oh, the point of day 3 is to show you twisting. He wanted to elaborate what GM Ivan or Bonchow told me, like, oh, Heyrosa is all about the twisting, right? Not just like the stick, but interestingly enough, the techniques he was showing to me were mostly empty hand defense against knife and stick, and also grappling with the stick, right? Here's this one underarm move that I managed to successfully pull off in sparring. It's pretty common in FMA, and you can do it in wrestling and Aikido as well, but it's virtually impossible to pull off in actual sparring, I feel, with or without the weak half armor. I am not a fan of this clothesline choke slash unbalancing move assisted with the puño end of the stick. He was showing that, oh, like, twisting is in every single part of a Heyrosa de Cuerdas Eskrima duel. Like, I was telling him, oh, Richard, I noticed how when you use your Amar, you always look this way. He's like, oh, yes, I'm using my eyes to follow the stick. I could tell it's part of his muscle memory. It's just part of him now. He's not getting rid of it, and it's definitely something they train in Heyrosa de Cuerdas Eskrima. Without the stick and the knife, it's like, oh, like if you throw a punch, you see that twisting motion. It also looks like the 3-point parry in most FMA systems, right? And from there, you can see how the twisting logic manifests in their empty-handed defense. For example, like, oh, once you parry the punch, it's like, oh, the attack, how they attack, there's not really a solid logic to it. It's like a very malleable, almost free form. It's like, oh, based on twisting, that means I go right, left. I'm not just talking about upper body movement here for left and right, but also the logic behind the foot sectoring and the knee crowding movements, as you can see here. Honestly, part of me is just wondering if Richard has ever actually drilled these movements before, or if he's just winging it based off the principle of twisting. Because all of these movements, like the disarms and the following counter strikes, they lack the structure and the aesthetics of something that's been rehearsed for many, many generations. Something like Jiru in Silat or anything Chinese. I'm not saying Richard is lying. I'm just saying he has enough faith in the concept of twisting to think that that's all he needs. So yesterday in day 2, Richard showed foot sectoring. But in day 3, he really showed that in Heyrosa they care a lot about the foot sectoring, the knee crowding, right? Which I myself am not really, I think it's kind of BS, right? It's not really effective. It is really not effective. There's a lot of rules in every martial art, right? Like, because I remember one really good Filipino martial arts blogger, I think it was Mustafa, I forgot his last name, but it was the Filipino Fighting Secrets blog. He wrote that, oh, the truth is, whenever you're learning a martial art from any shifu or teacher, you're really subscribing to their imagination, whether you like it or not. Like, there's no pretty way to say it. When you're learning from a martial art, be it Chinese Kung Fu or Filipino Eskrima, maybe even maybe boxing, that's kind of a stretch because it's a sweet science, right? It's kind of been proven, but yeah, Eskrima is definitely no exception. You're really subscribing to that system's imagination, that GM, that guru, that shifu's idea of how combat would really flow. And in Heyrosa, I can tell the imagination here is that, oh, foot sectoring and knee crowding somehow negates a lot of attacks or angles, and that it's somehow efficient enough to stagger someone off balance. When, in my opinion, it probably is not effective. Like I feel like any martial art, like any combat sport now, like just MMA in general, like it's not a big deal. You know, just bumping a knee into someone, it's not gonna be able to take them down with just knees. I remember I went to this one martial arts seminar, and the Silat guy was like, "Oh, use your knees, pinch the guy's leg." and twist this way, and he will just fall. It's like, nah, dude, that's. Yeah, day 3, Richard really elaborated on the whole. Oh, you can twist using the foot sector. So it's like, oh, the idea is like you crowd the opponent, attack his knees in this way. He once again emphasized that you cannot put the heel directly behind the opponent. Although in day 2, you do see him actually putting his heel behind mine, like in a judo osotogari position. I mean, right here he does it again in day 3. Although the intention behind these movements is to teach the logic behind the twisting left and right, I'm assuming. But the only reason he did that, I feel, is because he had my neck clamped in the stick, so he felt like it was safe for him to execute that throw. Otherwise, whenever I tried to put my heel behind his, like a osotogari or 脑切子 in Chinese 摔跤, he was like, no, only step to the side for the foot sector and crowding. What else? I feel like I'm taking the pacing of the lessons too fast. Like, I shouldn't be taking daily lessons at this rate right now. He's given me plenty of material to work on. He's given me homework, which, to be honest, I haven't really been able to do. He's given me so much stuff to work on that I should probably give myself a day or 2 even to digest the stuff he's given me. Now I feel like it's really like at a beginner level in Heyrosa, really all you need to do is really just master the A form, the otso. Just get used to actually being able to hit someone while they have their stick up here in the guard. Right? Just get past your guard and just keep hitting him like this. Instead of worrying about disarms and foot sectoring and all this empty hand stuff. I felt like Richard was still just giving me a sample of like, oh, here's what Heyrosa can teach you. And he also elaborated on the secret of Heyrosa Screamo, right? Which he mentioned on day 2. He was like, oh, the secret of Heyrosa really is just getting down. Like, by the way, Richard also mentioned himself, like, yes, we Filipinos are short. That's what we bring the enemy to our level, right? That's why there's so many moves, like even with the stick, and not just the disarms, but like the limb manipulation. It's all about sinking their weight, bringing the opponent down with them. And then from there, it's from this interesting crab position they start delivering these very primitive uppercuts, right? Like, I say primitive because there's really, I feel like a lack of good body mechanics. It really evinces that isolated Filipino island art. Yeah, now that it's day 3 of learning Heyrosa, I told Richard that I'm pretty tired. I won't be able to wake up tomorrow morning for a usual lesson, for the 4th lesson. And part of me is just because I'm lacking sleep, but another part is because I need to digest the stuff I'm learning. But yeah, I've been asking myself, what exactly is the value of me learning Filipino martial arts if there's so much stuff that just doesn't work? A lot of Filipino martial arts, I feel like they're also delusional. They're just lying to each other, lying to themselves, right? I've seen it firsthand. Like, I went to Kako Kaineti Dose Pars, man, just the amount of sucking up, and you can tell the techniques are, in Chinese it's called 配合, cooperative. You know, you can just tell like, oh, there's no way this technique would have worked. No one's just gonna stand there and let you stab him, then just abanuko over his body without decking you like a truck. And I like Kako Kaineti Dose Pars. I think it's cool. You know, I love their close range techniques. I remember seeing one YouTube comment like years ago on a Heyrosa Eskrima video saying this is just copying Kako Kaineti Dose Pars, which I highly doubt it is. I feel like it's my feeling, right? My completely non-scientific, no research-backed, inferring opinion is that Heyrosa de Cuerdas Eskrima is probably a really good example of an isolated, isomorphic Filipino art that would have been relatively virtually unknown were not for YouTube and the promotion of one American martial artist named Christoph Cluxton. What else? Yeah, back to the question. Well, I'm just thinking to myself, what is the value of learning it? Well, right off the top of my head, to be honest, I guess it is genuine Filipino culture, right? It's whenever someone goes to Asia or Southeast Asia, right? I'm doing it for the culture. Like, it's become a meme. This really is genuine Filipino culture, right? In that it's with its 7,000 plus islands, a lot of Filipinos still don't know what Eskrima is, and the more to say of a obscure martial art like Heyrosa de Cuerdas Eskrima, right? So I guess I'm tasting, right? I'm getting that taste of culture, because I feel like a lot of some well-intentioned Western tourists, they view like the experience of being taught by a small Filipino man as the cultural experience. I'm definitely getting that for sure, but I also try to justify it as, I'm being a little armchair historian. I'm getting to firsthand witness. See this primitive uppercut techniques from sinking the guy down. Like, is it effective? Probably no. Like, it's probably not effective at all. But a lot of Heyrosa de Cuerdas Escrimadores, they have this confidence in their art. Like that they just have this complete confidence that comes from not really knowing modern mixed martial arts and pressure testing in combat sports. Even though Richard told me they did integrate combat judo and some other MMA into their grappling. But yeah, that's my thoughts for day 3. I asked Richard to demonstrate how Heyrosa de Cuerdas Escrimadores would react to 3 common street fight attacks. They were a takedown, a jab and a overhand, as well as a kick and a switch kick. You can judge for yourself how effective they are. Or you can just enjoy it like a piece of art, right? Like you can just enjoy it as a piece of very obscure, still relatively unknown Eskrima group or system. Alright, the Cebuano sign word of the day is tapila. How much? Tapila.
Oh, what here? Oh, it's cool.
I twist you. Sorry.